Hello guys, Rob here, raising Reef. So you want to kill the Aiptasia? Yes, we all do. This tank has got some Aiptasia in it and it's been running a bit rampant over the last couple of months. It's time to sort it out. There are a few different ways that you can tackle Aiptasia in a reef tank, and I'm going to talk you through each and every one of them that I'm aware of in this video. So then after this video you will have a good idea of what it is. You can form a plan of what it is that you want to use to tackle it in your tank. So I'll break it into three different sections really. You've got predators, things that you can add, livestock you can add to your tank to eat the Aiptasia. You've then got treatments or poisons that you can directly stick onto the Aiptasia to kill it. And then you've got tools you can use to try and remove and destroy the Aiptasia. So first of all, let's talk about livestock. There are two main fish that people use to add to the tank to get rid of Aiptasia. One is the copper band butterfly fish. Now this is a beautiful fish and it's probably one of my favourites. One of the problems with this fish is you can't really stick it in a tiny tank. You need probably at least 300 to 400 litre tank to accommodate this fish. It needs a lot of rock work and it needs to be able to cruise around that rock work. It's got a specially developed mouth to eat certain types of food, and keeping them long term can prove a challenge. So it seems a little bit unfair in my eyes to add this tank just to remove Aiptasia, although they are particularly good at it. Also, once they've finished eating the Aiptasia, they can sometimes get a little bit of a taste for other coral polyps in the tank. So it's something that you'll have to bear in mind if you decide to go down that route. If you do decide to keep one, you might want to do a little bit of research and look into their diet, try and add them the type of foods they want to eat. I would suggest adding some kind of worms to the food that you feed, so like a bloodworm or black worm or something like that, to the feed that you put into the tank, so that they've got something that is more specified to what they naturally would eat in the wild, because nutrition can be a problem for these guys. The other fish that I am aware of that you can add is a filefish, which is an Aiptasia eating filefish. Now, I don't think anybody adds these to the tank because they like the look of them. They're not a particularly attractive fish. They look like a rotting leaf. And I think that's purposely to stop them from getting eaten by predators. They look a bit like they're just sort of floating around in the water and not very appetizing. So they will eat it, but there is a chance they will eat your other corals as well. So again, it's a risky manoeuvre. If you've got lots of cherished corals that you don't want eaten, then maybe this fish is for the more brave of you that decide that they just can't stand the Aiptasia and are willing to take that risk. I don't think they have any special requirements as far as diet's concerned. I've never kept one personally, too ugly to go into my reef tank personally, but some people like them. And they do the job. Other livestock you can add to the tank are Bangai nudibranch. Now they're a little sea slug that will go around and eat the Aiptasia. They exclusively eat Aiptasia. You'll have to buy them probably mail order because there's not that many people producing them for the shops, but there are some places that you can look up online and you can probably order yourself some and they'll send them through the post. You add them to your tank, you'll probably never see them. If you've got wrasses, they may not last very long, but they will cruise around the rock, they will breed in the tank, they will eat the Aiptasia. Once all of the Aiptasia is dead, they'll probably starve to death. So if they don't get to all of them before they die, then eventually all of those Aiptasia will regrow back into the tank. I prefer something else that was less chance of a risk, but will definitely eat them and will eat other foods when the Aiptasia runs out, and that is peppermint shrimp. Now you need true peppermint shrimp. Sometimes you get ones that aren't quite the ones that you're after, but you need to make sure you get proven peppermint shrimp that eat Aiptasia, and they in my opinion are probably one of the best ways to tackle it. They are nocturnal, so you don't usually see them out and about in the daytime when the lights are on. they will come and look around and pick around the rocks during the night. Getting one isn't very effective. They tend to be quite shy and they work best in groups, and they kind of hunt for the Aiptasia during lights out, and adding probably 3 or more is probably your best bet to solve an Aiptasia issue. They tend to like the young small ones more so than the big ones, so you can use them in tandem with another treatment to get rid of the big ones, and they will clear up all the little ones that you probably can't get to or wouldn't normally notice until they got bigger. So over time you'll notice a reduction in the Aiptasia until pretty much they're not really a problem. So that's pretty much all of the livestock that you can add to the tank that I'm aware of that are proven to get rid of Aiptasia. The next thing you've got is some kind of treatment like Aiptasia X, Joe's Juice. There's probably a myriad of other people that are branding these products for Aiptasia, for killing Aiptasia. You can use calc-water paste. You can mix calcium hydroxide into a little paste. It looks like toothpaste. It's white. You squirt it onto the top of it. It will instinctively shut and close into that, and it will consume it. And basically, it's really alkaline, and it will just melt them. Other people will squirt super glue on top of them. Some people will try and inject them with a hypodermic needle to put lemon juice inside them. And all of these have been proven to, or people have claimed that they are effective ways of getting rid of them. The problem with this sort of technique is that you have to treat every single one in the tank. So if you had one big one in the tank and you fed it and it killed it, then it may work perfectly well. Or you've got 2 or 3. They're easy to get to, and you get them all and they're done. There is a problem with attacking these Aiptasia. They tend to spore into the water when they're under stress. So if you start digging at them with, I don't know, a scalpel or a screwdriver and trying to just, mash them up and kill them off the rocks, or scrub them with a toothbrush, they will break off into little pieces, and those little pieces will float around the tank, and then that one that you just killed will become 10, 20, 100, and you'll find that they are popping up everywhere. So it's not advised when you're looking to treat these to get frustrated and scrub them off the rocks, unless you have something like peppermint shrimp that are going to pick off all these little babies as they come through. Now, you can scrub them off the rock, but what I would advise you do is you remove that rock from the tank, put it into a bowl or a bucket of water, scrub all of those Aiptasia off, give it a good rinse, and then put it back in the tank. That way you should have rinsed off all of those spores, and you have a better chance of killing the Aiptasia and not reinfesting the tank with loads more as a result. So that covers, treatments of poisons. There are 2 tools that you can use to kill Aiptasia. I happen to have both of them here, and we'll talk about them. So firstly, we have something called the Majano wand, which has been around for probably a decade at least. I think I bought this one maybe 10 years ago when I was first looking at treating Aiptasia. You may, if anyone's familiar with these, you may think, well, that doesn't look very long. When you buy these, they come, basically, it's 2 probes. A stainless steel, let me take this off here. There we go. We've got like a stainless steel tip, which is the bit you use to touch onto the offending Aiptasia, and there's one in here, which I don't know if it's a carbon, it looks like it might be carbon, a carbon tip. And basically an electrical current passes from one to the other through the water. And what you get when you pass an electrical current through water is, on the probes, the oxygen and the hydrogen that make up the water break out of the water, and they form at each probe. Well, the idea is that you poke this into the Aiptasia, it is causing that current, it's creating hydrogen atoms, or releasing hydrogen. It doesn't create hydrogen atoms, it's releasing them from the water, and it dissolves the flesh. They're quite effective. Whether they will contribute to the spread of the Aiptasia in the tank, I don't know if the reaction of the Aiptasia while this is happening is too much for them to react in that way, but they're quite effective. The problem that you find with when you buy one of these, it's probably about this long. I've shortened this one. I carefully cut around the plastic tube and I broke it away so that I could use it in the tank a lot more effectively. It's got a long, and I couldn't operate it. It was just too long, too fiddly. There are lots of little nooks and crannies that you just can't, even this size, you still can't get into it. So, although it works, it's a bit fiddly, and it's probably not the best solution. And when I bought this about a decade ago, I think it was like £85. It was a lot of money 10 years ago for a piece of plastic. People started making their own, fair enough. At the end of the day, there's not a great deal to it. You've got a little 12-volt adapter. This one comes with a trigger, which subsequently doesn't work anymore, so I bypassed the trigger, so you just flick the switch on and it works, and you flick the switch off and it stops. And that's all there is to it. Probably not the most effective or up-to-date way of getting rid of it, so we'll put that to one side. It's okay, but we have a better way, and that is this. Now this is a high-powered laser. You may have seen videos on these before. These will definitely kill Aiptasia straight through the glass from the outside of the tank, and I'm going to show you how to use this right now on one of these Aiptasia that I've been itching to kill, but I've been waiting to make this video so that I can show you it working, because it's right at the front. It's going to be great to film it and you'll be able to see it in action. So we've got this all charged up. You get some safety glasses, which are red, and they are supposed to protect your eyes from the beam, because it will burn things. This is unbelievably powerful. I'm surprised that you can just order this off the internet for 50 quid and they just send it to your door. They don't check how old you are, they don't check anything, and this can be quite a lethal piece of kit. So all it does, you get a little leaflet that basically says do not point it at humans or animals, because it burns stuff. We will show you that, and then we'll have a look at zapping these Aiptasia. So let me bring you closer and we can show you what's going on. Okay, just as a demonstration, I've got a piece of wood here and I'm going to show you. There's the tip of it. That is what it does in an instant to a piece of wood. So it's a high powered laser. I'm not showing you how many watts it is, but as you can see, you focus the light and it burns into the wood. So you need to be careful what you're doing with it. Oh, stinky. Right, so that's a demonstration of how powerful this laser is. Let's get you in position in front of the tank. Right, there's the offender. Let's put my goggles on, and there's the end of the thing, and we will zap it. Are you ready? Right, you can adjust the focal length of it, making it wider and thinner. And can you hear that? That is the sound of Aiptasia cooking. Now I'm not entirely sure how long you have to do this for. I mean, it could be well dead already, but as long as I still hear that fizzing popping, I like to keep going. Because I do definitely want to make sure that it's dead. As you can see, it's much easier than the Mojano wand. It's a lot easier than trying to tackle each one by feeding it something that's going to kill it. Because what you'll find is if you try to pour one of these poisons onto its mouth here, I would have had to have moved the coral below it, because if any of that dripped onto the coral below it, it's a good chance it would kill that also. So this, you can target exactly where you want it, fry the Aiptasia, and just keep moving on to the next one. You haven't got to worry about contaminating the water with anything, because you're not using any kind of poison. It's just intense light that is frying the live tissue. Well, that looks completely and utterly obliterated, as far as I can see. But we can check back later and have another look, see if we missed any of it, and we can zap it again. So this for me is the most effective way of killing them, because I can do it at my leisure through the glass. I don't have to get my hands wet. I don't have to worry about adding too much of something to the tank. Like with these poisons and stuff, there's only so many you can treat at any one time before you can start to, you know, contaminate your reef water. But with this, it's just concentrated light. You zap them. The batteries don't last that long, but then, you know, it's only 2 small batteries. It comes with a charger, so you can recharge them. It does take a little while to charge them up, but it's the sort of thing where, you know, you can just get at it, you can zap them, and then when you're done, you can charge it, and you can come back and zap them another time. What I've chosen to do with my tank is hit the big ones with this, or any ones that I can reach, and I've added 5 peppermint shrimp to the tank, which will take care of basically the fallout of attacking them. So if they spore into the water, if they get the chance, any new ones that come, the peppermint shrimp will be actively seeking those out. So I'm quite confident that they will clear up the tank. I've already noticed a reduction. I've used this a couple of times before we made this video, and I zapped a few, and I had to make the video quick because I was getting carried away and I could have zapped too many of them, and we wouldn't have any to show you in this video. But it works really well. I've charged it a couple of times and it continues to perform. I'm really happy with it. So with the information that I've given you in this video, you can make a decision about what methods you want to use to try and attack the Aiptasia in your tank and reduce them down. I've found for me a combination of a predator and a tool to kill them is working best for me, and I'm confident that in time they're not going to become a problem. I had let them overrun slightly. I do broadcast feed my tank quite large, in quite large amounts. A whole cube of mysis for a small tank like this is quite a lot, and a little bit of flake food. I don't want my fish to go without any food, and I want them to be as healthy as possible. I have robust methods for removing excess nutrients in the water, and I don't use filter socks or anything, so any of that food that passes through the system can come back round and have another go at being food once again until it's eaten or taken out of the system. So they have had an opportunity to feed quite vigorously, and those Aiptasia have taken full advantage of it. Without keeping them in check, they will overrun a tank and they will cause mayhem. So that's what I'm doing to kill the Aiptasia in my tank. Check back later to see how I've got on in future videos. If you liked this video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to follow along with the process. Take it easy guys, have fun killing Aiptasia in your own tank, and I will see you next time.